Welcome to Live from the Underground. We are down here at the Underground at 24 Pleasant Street. I am tonight's host, Vincent Freeman, and also the owner of the Underground Listening Room and the Underground Recording Studio. We are here tonight with Trevor Robinson, and we're super excited to hear some music from him tonight. So we're streaming on WCVR and on Facebook for the first hour, and then both hours are also live streamed worldwide on Bandcamp, so head on over there if you want to watch the show and are listening to the radio. And without further ado, take it away, Trevor.
First days of the revolution, I had a haircut that I didn't really love. When I think back on those tumultuous times, it's always details like that that cross my mind. Of course, you know I remember the way the streets were filled with blood, how the alleys echoed with the sound of broken glass, and the streets always tasted like tear gas. But in the first days of the revolution, all of that was yet to come. You and I still went out on the occasional date. We still exchanged gifts on all the old holidays. We had space in our heads for concerns of the heart. We were softer then, but really, how could we not have been? Why don't you just sit down? Let the storm pulsate. I won't tell anyone. If you happen to cry, we'll put new spikes on your jacket. Touch up your corpse paint. We can listen to your cassette. The blaze in the northern sky, all strung out on meth, and we don't have any money. But I don't think the answer is stabbing somebody. You're really angry. That much is clear. Well, you can stop yelling. I can hear you just fine. This is a pretty small kitchen, and I think we'd both feel better if you'd put down the knife. We've got these black metal hearts and no hope to recover, being eaten alive by this Transylvanian hunger. It sucks to be 17 years old. The winds of Oslo blow cold. I don't always know how I feel about Satan or whatever. I think what I like about sin is that we do it together. We've got these black metal hearts and no hope to recover, being eaten alive by this Transylvanian hunger. Hey, thanks. That's called a True Cult of You. Tag all your black metal friends. It's kind of a live remix. The words don't usually go like that. So this song coming up is from a split EP I did with Dylan Patrick Ward, another Southern Vermont songwriter who I think is pretty great. And I believe played here. It's kind of how I heard about this place. So shout out Dylan Patrick Ward. The song's called Tuesday Night Bingo at the Moose Lodge. Tuesday night bingo at the Moose Lodge, and I'm the chauffeur. Once again, drive 55 through the snow with my sister Pam and two of her oldest best friends. Walk inside, grab a seat, buy something cheap I know I'll hardly drink. Slide a chip to C9 and lay down all those heavy things. I think Joyce tells the one about the time Joe dropped the gun, and of course she fumbles the punchline. We all laugh anyway, find the warmth there that waits in stories we've heard 1,000 times. Invoke the names of folks we know who didn't get to see us all grow old. Some things change forever, but December nights are always long and cold. Folding chairs and wrinkled faces, sitting in the same old places here. We can let ourselves pretend that the good times were heaven sent, the lean times were at least well spent, and peace might be just around the bend. Wednesday I'll roll out of bed, rub my eyes, scratch my head, and stare down the road toward the end. Thursday comes a little softer, Friday afternoon's the doctor, and the weekend will just drift through me again. Then on Monday, Pam will call and ask if I can drive her Joyce and Kath to Tuesday night bingo at the Moose Lodge. This is another song about a day of the week. You and me get lost inside the dark corners of Friday night. Circle 8 off Highway 5 by a Circle K that don't sell ice. Your kids haven't called since they left home. I've never felt anything but alone. Mix the sacred and profane, read the nightstand Bible, smoke cocaine. I don't want to cause harm or nothing, but do you think we could maybe kiss or something? 'Cause the silence sends a shiver through my bones. I'd give anything to feel a little known. Basic cable, blackout curtains, a heart that's sad and uncertain, empty cans, Pall Mall ashes, a fading future in your eyelashes. Do you think you might hold me tight in the dark corners of Friday night? Maybe we could stay lost inside the dark corners of Friday night. Do you think you might hold me tight in the dark corners of Friday night? Maybe we could stay lost inside the dark corners of Friday night. This song's called It Was a Weird Time in My Life. Had a one-way ticket for the Peter Pan bus. Had a little bit less than $20. Canceled my therapy appointment for that afternoon. Packed up my maps of the moon. Put down the dull knives. Boarded the bus full of intersecting lives. Let out a sigh as the driver began to cry. And the miles rolled by. Took a seat next to the ghost of an old friend. She leaned in close, and this is what she said. There are no answers, all equations are lies. You can't trust the sky, those stars already died. In the mathematics of the soul, the only number is one. Time will erase even the sun. You see, the bees are the hive. Right now holds all of being alive. The road gets narrow, so keep your eyes wide as the miles roll by. Thanks. So this is another song. It's got words, chords. I think that's what makes it a song. That, and you can't do anything with it but like sing it, right? This is another. Yeah, we can. Maybe later we'll all get together and debate the definition of a song. But for now, we'll just play them. Celebrated my 3rd anniversary as the manager. Just 2 weeks before GameStop burned down. Of course, there were days when I didn't want to don that red lanyard, but I assumed the place would always be around. Never found out what started the fire. But I will not forget the sight of the Funko Pops, all molten and aglow. In the pregnant moments before the emergency responders arrived. The heat from all that plastic packaging sort of felt like home. Never cared for The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I've never even seen Rick and Morty. It was an okay job, but it was not like I could see myself there at 40. But I will hold a place in my heart for the kids who don't know how to socialize. The way they'd walk through the door, smile, look the cashier in the eyes as they pre-ordered Final Fantasy. Where are they gonna pre-order Final Fantasy? Now the GameStop burned down. Now that GameStop burned down. Johnny Gifford, everybody. So, I read this article in the New York Times email newsletter, and honestly, I don't even remember what the article was about, but there was a sentence in there that mentioned a polar bear that had been prescribed Prozac at one point. And I had just finished this training for work about intentional peer support and like understanding other people's worldviews and experiences. And I read this sentence and I was just like bowled over suddenly with what felt like some insight into this polar bear's experience. And so this is a bit of speculative fiction about a nonfiction polar bear who used to live at the Central Park Zoo, and it is called New Paradigms in Healthcare Delivery. And that story is probably longer than the song. Got us really worried lately, Gus. swimming in your pool all day long. You turn figure eights from dawn until dusk. We think we might know what's wrong. Do you ever feel penned in and not sure what to do? Well, Gus, sometimes we feel that way too. Have you ever heard of serotonin, Gus? It's a chemical that you make inside your brain. Sometimes a slight adjustment helps us. We think polar bears might respond the same. Everybody loves you at the Central Park Zoo. We just wanna see your sad feelings removed. We only want what's best for you, Gus. So the experts have come up with a plan. We're professionals, people you can trust. We're gonna give you all the help we can. All right, I have time for one more, which is really funny because I had planned to do one more in this segment of the show. Isn't it nice when things work out like that? All right, this song is called Meet Cute, which, if you were unaware, is a romantic comedy plot device. The day you drove your car to the side of my house, it was like the 7th straight day that I hadn't been outside, and I was feeling kinda lonely. But I guess I'm always feeling kinda lonely. The day you drove your car into the side of my house, I think I was feeling sorta extra lonely. Then you arrived. You brought chunks of the front lawn, a branch from the maple tree across the street, the corner of one of those garden boxes that I'd built back when I thought I was gonna plant vegetables in those garden boxes that I'd built. And as the walls caved around your car, the living room was suffused with midday light, and a warm spring breeze caressed my skin. You were just sitting there, bits of drywall in your hair, the most peaceful look that I had ever seen across your face. Thank you.
All right. That was awesome. Thank you so much for this first half hour of music. We are here at Live from the Underground at the Underground Listening Room in downtown Randolph, listening on WCVR and Bandcamp, and we have an in-house audience as well. So thank you all for being here. Give another round of applause for Trevor. And we also had a guest appearance already from Johnny on the Shaker earlier. Thank you for that. We're going to hear more from Johnny during the second set. So for those listening on the radio and on Facebook, either head on over to Bandcamp to watch online, so that's the Underground VT Bandcamp page, or come on down in person and listen to the second set. But for now, I've got a few questions for you. I thought we could chat for a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah, thank you again for being here, and remind me where you drove from today.
Bellows Falls, beautiful Bellows Falls, Vermont.
Yeah, so you're right in Bellows Falls, which is where I was about a month or two ago to go check out Stage 33, which is another awesome listening room that Dylan actually told me about, and
Excellent.
There's another full circle.
Yeah, it's a cool place. I volunteer there. We get artists through. I think usually like once a month is the idea, generally, in kind of during the colder months. But over the last year, it's been like a lot of bands catching up with like COVID cancellations. So that's been fun.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great facility that they've got going on there, and I definitely wanted to go check it out. And we're still pretty new here, and so it's great. Everyone's so supportive of each other, and we're all trying to do the same thing to really feature local art and be able to present that craft in a way that is appropriate to you musicians, instead of being background music at restaurants and bars.
Yeah, that's not that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm super curious where you get your inspiration from for your songs and your lyrics, besides the New York Times.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like, just living, really, I mean, I think that sounds like a really, like, trite non-answer, but, so I think, like, I do try to sit down and, like, write songs really regularly as just, like, a practice, but I think the good ones, the ones that I feel, like, most excited about, seem to be, like, something just, like, comes across my path, and, like, I know, like, oh, there's a song there.
Yeah.
And you just got to sit down and like let it show up, and so I just have the interests that I have, which are like, I don't want to ramble too much, but I do find that for me, it's I most easily connect with other people in like moments of vulnerability and about the vulnerable stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I think about like being a teenager is a really terrible, vulnerable time. And so like black metal teenagers also seem to me to be particularly like, I feel their plight. Do you know, there was a documentary called Until the Light Takes Us. Okay. About like Mayhem and like the black metal guys in Norway in the 80s. And I was like really kind of obsessed with it for a while. And I don't like black metal music that much. I've tried. But like the fact that they were like teenagers and there was like murder and like this crazy music, and they were burning churches, was just really on my mind for a long time. And
that
then,
spoke to you.
Yeah, and then one day, the song showed up, Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, you just get, I don't know, just gotta be paying attention, I guess.
But just kind of day-to-day experiences, if something strikes you in a way that might turn into a song. I'm
kind of always trying to write, in my mind, the songs are like about characters. They're like about other people and like stuff. But there is a degree to which ultimately you're always kind of like writing about yourself, like some aspect of yourself. There are definitely songs where I did not, it took me a long time to realize that it was actually just about me. It was like a couple of years down the road where I was like, oh, that's...
So it's a self-discovery path in a way.
Yeah, it's a good way to like, to process things passively. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Until you're frustrated and realize...
Until somebody asks you a question, and then you think, oh, this is about me, actually. They ask you a question, and then 2 days later, you think, oh, it's about me.
Yeah. So when you go to write a song, do you physically write down lyrics? Does it follow some sort of structure? It seems like a big kind of storytelling aspect rather.
I just sit with the guitar and strum chords and say words.
Yeah.
And then I do like a lot of drafts of that.
Yeah.
On like voice memos.
Okay.
I don't write usually. Very rarely will I write a thing down. It's just not how I think about it, I guess.
So it's all up in your head.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to write them out because I go to the shout out to the Northern Vermont Songwriters group. I don't know their real name, but I go there it's once a month, and it used to be at Catamount Arts, but we're online now. Look it up at the Catamount Arts website. It's great. It's fun. But I have to write the song out for that.
Okay.
So like I bring a song every month. Everybody brings a song, and we like go over it and talk about it. And like for that, I'll write them out, and that can be useful because you're like, oh, I said well like 3 times in that song. That's not necessary. Yeah.
So what's that all about? The songwriter.
The songwriters thing. It's about just like people who write songs get together once a month, and you bring a song, and you can play it. Now we have Zoom, so you can play a recording. We used to just like play it for people. Okay. And you get feedback.
Cool.
And it's a really cool, supportive community of people, writing songs in Northern Vermont.
That sounds really cool. Yeah.
It's nice that it's on Zoom because I don't live in Northern Vermont anymore.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
So you used to live in Northern Vermont?
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in the Northeast Kingdom, and then I bounced around mostly Vermont. For my life. Yeah.
But Bellows Falls right now is home.
I love Bellows Falls. I'm like a one-man Bellows Falls ad campaign, and I'm gonna keep it toned down tonight. But just know, I really love Bellows Falls.
Cool. Yeah. What's the music scene like there? I mean, so I know Stage 33, or is there a music scene?
Well, I would say that the music scene there rules.
All right.
I live there. Dylan Patrick Wood lives there. Stage 33 is cool. There's a great community radio station. Used to have a show where like a couple of guys would do like live synthesizer improvisations. You know, it's a small town.
Yep.
But there's cool stuff happening. Like everywhere in Vermont, I think if you like hang out there for more than a day, you'll find that there's like really cool stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah, when I drove in, I was like, this is a quintessential Vermont town though.
Yeah.
Like when you picture, that's what you see. And so what people on the radio can't see is your pedal collection and synthesizer. And then I also want to talk about the amp, but do you want to tell us a little bit about all of your fancy pedals?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Or that's not really in the forefront for your performance?
I mean, it's not. I sometimes, I will get really nerdy about it, but I don't know that that's super interesting for people to listen to. But what I will say is what I've got is some effects pedals that make my guitar sound different than it sounds normally. And
then messing around with some reverse stuff there earlier.
Yeah, I've got a looper that I have used when I play by myself because it kind of fills out space. I really like found sounds. As opposed to like I'm not like doing a loop that's a rhythm track. I will just send I've got the synthesizer. Really, I'm using it to play samples.
Yep.
Of like birds and ocean, like recordings I take. And I used to just take my phone and hold it up to the pickup of the guitar and loop that through the looper.
Yeah.
But and I thought that was like really cool to do for a while. But there's more options with this.
Right, until you start getting phone calls during
during the show, that would be embarrassing. You got to make sure it's like on silent airplane mode or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. It's just kind of like I like to incorporate like sounds from life into the songs because it's a nice texture. It gives it it feels like it sits in a space.
Yeah, and so you said you do record all of your samples yourself?
Most of them, yeah. The vast majority
That's
I'll do.
awesome.
Like sometimes I'll get something somewhere if I want something like really specific, but
yeah. Is that something that you kind of plan with your songs? Like, hey, I need some birds chirping for the song, so I'm gonna go find some birds.
No, usually. So my whole creative process tends to be very it's kind of like magpie. Like I'm just grabbing lots of things all of the time, and then. I feel like they'll just kind of reveal what the thing is. Like I'll record the song, usually just like guitar and voice, and then I'll think like, oh, it'd be cool if there was this kind of thing that I know that I have on there, you know, just like, yeah, you never know.
Awesome. And so you do have quite a bit of recording content on Bandcamp and streaming platforms as well?
Nah, just Bandcamp.
Just Bandcamp, okay.
Yeah,
And so how long have you been a recording artist?
I don't know. I think like anybody that likes music and was a teenager after the turn of the millennium, I've been able to record things.
Right.
Kind of like my whole, you know, I didn't really start sharing it with more than just like my immediate friends much before like a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of your music is self-recorded?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I used to be like really, what I would like to do for the longest time was like I'd just like to show up at an open mic night when I had like 10 or 20 minutes of new songs and only ever play them there. And then like do it again the next time I had that many songs.
Right.
I've gotten like less weird and a little bit less neurotic over time. This is what less weird and neurotic is like. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And for those that are watching on Bandcamp, there's actually a virtual merch table under the video. So if you scroll down, you can buy some of Trevor's music.
That would be cool. Yeah. You might enjoy it.
And that's trevorrobinson.bandcamp.com.
It is, yes. Yep.
Yeah. So for those listening on the radio, head on over there and find some of his recordings. And then we even have some physical merch here in-house.
Yeah. Or you can send me a postcard. Send it to the radio station. I have a radio show at Wool FM. Send it to Ocean of Sound, care of Wool FM, P.O. Box 110, Bellows Falls, Vermont, 05101. And I will send you whatever I have, just because I love the mail.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a first. And I'm all about firsts here in the listening room, too, with all of our shows that we have. And this is definitely, again, another direction that you're taking with music and with songwriting and lyrics. And it's really enjoyable to listen to. And I think we've all been enjoying the quirky lyrics and just the stories that you're telling. So I'm curious about your guitar amp. Is that a you project? For those that are listening and not watching, the guitar amp is covered in flowers.
Yeah, I hot glued a bunch of flowers from the dollar store to it. And I did it, at first I did it with a small amp that I had that had like, I don't know what you could, like felt on the outside, just like a little bass amp. And the felt got dirty.
Okay.
And so I had the flowers for some reason, I don't remember. And, you know, and a hot glue gun, and one thing led to another. And I did that. And then I kind of liked it. And so I just did it to all the other ones, too, so that they all kind of match.
Yeah, it's your signature now.
Now, it unfortunately sort of is, yeah.
And, I mean, it does something beautifully floral to the sound of your amp.
Yeah. People have told me I have a floral tone.
Yeah.
And
it may have to do with your floral
I think that's
amp.
the secret, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything right now that you'd still like to share? Otherwise, I think I'll let you play some more songs for us.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. We'll just play some more songs. How many? I'll do a few more, and then I'll bring Johnny up, and we'll...
Yep, yeah, so we'll do maybe another 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll come back up and we'll chat just a little more.
Yeah, super.
And for those listening on the radio, we're on until 8, and after that, if you want to head on down to the Underground or over to Bandcamp, again, this is live from the Underground at the Underground Listening Room in Randolph. We're listening on WCVR. We're over on Facebook for the first hour, and both hours are here in person and on Bandcamp. And yeah, I'll let you play some more songs. Thanks so much.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And feel free to join whenever. Yeah. For those who can't see, I'm inviting my friend Johnny to join whenever. He'll be here. I'm going to stop talking. Every morning begins with the same empty refrain. Today is the day that it's all gonna change. Ultimatums, apologies, all made in vain. These tiger's stripes are always the same. A rose is a rose is a rose by any other name. But just what it is we are, neither of us will say. Well, I don't know if I know, and you can't say if you're sure. But I don't think we're safe here, maybe we never were. I scan and rescan the walls, but I don't see any door. No ladder to the skylight, no escape hatch in the floor. And you just want it to stop, I can't take any more. Those final moments, maybe our prayers are heard. As our souls are released, neighbors mistake them for birds. That was called Still Life with Flaming Lead Balloons. The song's called Half Asleep in Art History. All I think about is you, and whether or not you think about me. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I think about what I'm going to eat. Sometimes I think about the finer points of French history in the late 18th century. Sometimes I think about what Jackie Wilson's career would have been like if he'd signed to Motown. But mostly I think about you and whether or not you think about me. When you dream, is it Salvador Dali? All melting clocks, weird mom baggage? Or is it Vincent van Gogh? Sunflowers, stars, and self-harm. 'Cause when I dream, it's Pablo Picasso. It's cubes, it's blue, and it's you. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks so much. Let's see. Oh, this one's got a, this is, I don't know. I don't know how useful it is to introduce the songs. This one's, it is a song. I do like to give it some context. I think it's about finding connections. Like that all the connections you find are valid, even if they're in places where, like, when you're maybe not in a great place, hanging out with people that you maybe don't think are great people. It's also about getting high in your car, and it's called I Got 5 on It. pack all of the tools for the old ceremony. I bring all the parts of me that I want to watch you bury. The sky looks down and shivers. We cast the spell together with a shared testimony as the moments roll downhill, each a tiny tributary. Time flows through us like a river. I can't tell if it's me or your Camry that's floating, and I'm pretty sure there's gotta be a hidden cost to knowing that the gates of heaven are just right there anywhere. You're not alone. The radio plays songs that we can sing but not name. There's questions I'm afraid to ask, form blisters in my mouth. These parking lots honor all our secrets. Tomorrow's always hanging somewhere just outside the frame as we stumble through today inside the shadows of our doubts. Street lamps blink on and off in sequence. I shed my skin, circle the moon, and then just hover. You ask me in a whisper if we ever will recover. We don't find shelter in a place, it's right there in the grace we share. It's called Still Life with Mounting Tension. Slam the car door, press redial and close my eyes. The stab wound in my stomach drips blood down between my thighs. The guy I want to answer the phone is probably not gonna answer the phone. Dream of fertile plains where the narcotics are cheap. As your parting words to me bubble up and then repeat. When you told me I would end up alone, I didn't know you meant like really alone. Racking up regrets as I slowly lose my hair. It's a mystery how anyone winds up anywhere. Our days roll like rivers one by one down to the sea. In this particular metaphor, death is the sea. The sun beats through the windshield, I feel every second crawl. This guy has now ignored like 25 stray calls. Almost any distance is a long, long way from home. When your sick heart skips a beat, just thinking about going home. Well, I don't want to say I'm sorry. I don't want to admit defeat. I just want to watch the world get blurry, get a call through to this a-hole up the street. Do I got time for one more? Yeah, all right, cool, super. This is a song called Letter from the Band to the Ghost of Richard Manuel. And if you've ever seen The Waltz, you'll know that the ghost of Richard Manuel is playing keys during the waltz. That guy looks terrible. You smelled like lemongrass and sweat. The late August air was 7 feet thick and wet. And I couldn't bear to love you anymore. Bathed myself in the light of your presence. Braced myself for the weight of your absence. But I couldn't bear to love you anymore. All these things circle around, blissful and cruel. The hardest part of letting you go is you. But I couldn't bear to love you anymore.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was another great collection of songs that we just heard from Trevor Robinson. We were here at Live from the Underground in Randolph, Vermont, listening on WCVR, Facebook, Bandcamp, and we've got people here in-house. It's been a great first hour. I wanted to point out that you just released an album a week ago.
Yeah, I put a collection of songs up on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of throw things up when it feels like they're there.
Yep.
You know, I'm not too there's a new bunch of songs on Bandcamp. Yeah.
And it's all materials at the end of
Oh, it's called Actual Materials
Materials.
at the End of Time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Great
that's
title.
what it's called. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a nice title for a collection of songs, too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any other new music in the works?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Not that I can.
Until they come to you.
Yeah, not that I'm ready to talk about. That just came out, so I'm probably I'm always writing stuff and doing things, but yeah, that's kind of what the one that just happened.
Awesome. And so people can go on Bandcamp to listen to that.
Yep, totally.
Where else can people find information about you?
That's pretty much it. They can go on the Bandcamp page. They can send me an email at trevorrobinson1@gmail.com. I love a good email thread. I'm not super tapped in. I'm not like on the social medias or stuff. Yeah, I do stuff to like hang out with people I like. I write songs for my friends.
Awesome. And so as far as people finding out where you're playing, they should look for posters.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. They should. Yeah, I don't like play out a ton. Mm-hmm. I'm playing at Nova Arts next week in Keene. Okay. As part of a songwriter circle, and that's kind of like the next thing that I got that I know about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we wish you all the success for the rest of this year and your musical career. Yeah. And I think we're about to wrap it up here, listening on WCVR. But nice. We've got a full another hour ahead of us, or roughly thereabouts.
Yeah, we'll get loose.
We're going to have some fun with Johnny coming up here, too. We've got some saxophone and some more guitar being added here in a minute. But yeah, thank you so much for being on our show. And it's great to have folks from all over the place come to perform here. Yeah, this is such a cool thing you're doing as like an archival thing too, just like all of the artists in Vermont. I think it's so great that you can like go to a place like this. Like I've been to your like whatever YouTube pages and stuff, and it's so neat to see the like variety of stuff that shows up, you know? It's cool. Thank you. Yeah, and it's been fun to just meet so many people through this over the last 3 years. So excited to continue doing it.
The night the stars fell on Alabama, I was plotting my escape from the upper Midwest. I was fleeing sharp cheese and snowy weather, and this sinking sense of dread in my chest. And the wind whispered, run, run, run. Billy Joel was in a New York state of mind, and I was in whatever state of mind you're in as you're leaving Delaware. Well, I didn't really know the song, but I tried to sing along, and for a couple of minutes I felt something other than scared, and the wind whispered, run, run, run. I dreamt that I was going to California, but here in Bangor my banjo's got 5 broken strings, and I keep lying on these change of address forms, knowing full well no one mails me anything. Maybe someday I will be from somewhere, someplace will sing to me a song of home. Today I've got another one-way ticket in my hand, and the wind in my ear whispering, go. cyclones spin by. Lightning splits the sky. Earthquakes rattle and shake. Tsunami waves break. Anywhere you left a trace or a memory of your gentle face is swept away or else bursts into flames. Hurricanes erase Miami Beach. A sinkhole swallows Bleecker Street. Volcanoes explode. Every single river overflows. This time round, the only ark is for lonely souls and broken hearts. Don't look now, here comes the flood. Thanks. This next song's called Big on the Folk Scene. You take diamonds and rust in an old picture of us to the stereo and sit down on the floor. You say you heard a story that nearly broke your heart, maybe last week, maybe the week before. You heard Joan Baez doesn't sing anymore. She gave up the ghost when she couldn't hit the notes, couldn't sing the song she'd sung before. Well, it's sorta sad to know it's not just me that breaks your heart, and even the greats find time hard to ignore. Joan Baez doesn't sing anymore. Between you and me, things just can't be what they can't be. It will never again be 1964. You flip the record, take the picture from the frame. When you say you love me, I can feel you eye the door. Joan Baez doesn't sing anymore. Well, you can argue till you're blue, but what's true is true. Nothing less, nothing more. The words haven't changed, but the song don't sound the same. Bob Dylan could stack the verses from here to Singapore, but they'd be sad in silent sheets and you'd still be crying on the floor, 'cause Joan Baez doesn't sing anymore. Joan Baez doesn't sing anymore. morning box scores looked prophetic. The numbers were alive and kinetic. So I spent the last of my liquid assets on lottery tickets and cigarettes. When I got back to the car, I told Sam I never meant him any harm. But if you gotta say it out loud, you're probably lying. He said it's okay, everything's fine. Heard the western stars whine. A crowd of birds converged on something dead as dawn emerged. When their beaks pierced its flesh, a question shifted in my chest. If we win $1 million, will you still feel the same way about dying? A pack of cigarettes won't last forever. A tank of gas only goes so far. We're never gonna make it out of Denver. They're building rockets to Mars. A pack of cigarettes won't last forever. A tank of gas only goes so far. You and me are never leaving Denver. They're building rockets to Mars. Dawn broke over Puget Sound. Any face I recognized had long ago skipped town. I hadn't bathed in maybe 6 or 7 days. Soaked in the soft morning light, picked at the scabs on my face. Wondered if there was any way to break the fall. Thought about Sandra and Jeff, the brilliant blaze of house fires. sang a song with the seagulls of unrequited desires. Shadows and ghosts danced off in the distance. As a tendril of something smelled like your mother's kitchen. There is no way home from this deep in the woods. I wade into the cool water until it's just above my knees. Then I wade a little bit further till it brings me peace.
I argued for that impression. I felt like my whole experience of life here
old issues of Arthur and Wire, an armoire and a can of turpentine, all the other stuff we left behind in a storage unit somewhere just south of Irvine. Well, they sit in the dark and they yellow and mold, all of the things our hearts couldn't hold. Tiny moments of tenderness, secrets that we shared, lies that we told. But I swear I won't notice, I will feel no emotion when they're lost to the water as California falls in the ocean. 'Cause you can't get nostalgic, no you can't feel bad when you lose things you never even knew you had. No, I will not notice, I will feel no emotions when they're swallowed up by the cold Pacific Ocean. 'Cause you can't get nostalgic, no you can't feel bad when you lose things you never even knew you had. Play a couple more? Yeah. The day that tiger ate my dad alive, we each three watched the same sunrise. I'd taken flight from all the folks I knew. The geeks, the clowns, and the bearded lady too. I left a letter in case he wondered why. But couldn't bring myself to say goodbye. I wasn't built for selling any sort of dream, for breathing fire or swinging from trapeze. No one filled the center ring quite like him. Wore the spotlight like a second skin. He'd say other people's money and the smell of stale popcorn were the greatest gifts this side of being born. Oil slick hair, a salesman's smile, and a Model T heart. We'd spent our lives together, mostly growing apart. Some people feel most at home inside a dream. You can't explain the view from up on the trapeze. But a tiger's a tiger, and wild hungers don't fade. You can move it from town to town, but a cage is a cage. As those teeth crushed his bones, did he scream or did he softly pray? I don't know. I wasn't there, and the tiger won't say. But we each three saw the bent red light of the same sunrise. The day that tiger ate my dad alive. Sometimes in the dark depths of a dream, I see those black eyes waiting beneath the trapeze. So just to be safe, I make sure I'm not around. When the circus comes to town. I can trust you. All right. So we'll do one more song. Is that cool for everybody? All right. I was gonna rob that bakery in Western Massachusetts. It seemed like a pretty good idea to me at the time. I was desperate, and the bread euphemism was tantalizingly obvious. I was gonna rob that bakery in Western Massachusetts. I was gonna rob that bakery in Western Massachusetts. The woman I was dating worked the closing shift and had a key. She didn't really mean that much to me, and I'd have been long gone by the time she figured that out. I was gonna rob that bakery in Western Massachusetts. I was gonna rob that bakery in in Western Massachusetts. The take would have been a couple $100 and some stale brioche. But it turns out bakers wake up a lot earlier than I do. I was gonna rob that bakery in Western Massachusetts. Seems my plans are always falling apart. Despite the sincerest of intentions, they're fatally wounded from the start. When I saw her silhouette in the window, the way her hands caressed the sourdough, I knew I couldn't live this way anymore. As a ray of morning light animated several thousand airborne flower particles, I figured it was time to seek treatment at the local psychiatric hospital, somewhere safe for somebody at the end of their rope. I was gonna rob that bakery in Western Massachusetts to finance another afternoon shooting dope. But I just couldn't do it. I was gonna rob that bakery in Western Massachusetts. Thanks so much for having us. Johnny Gifford on saxophone, guitar, funky noises, shaker, and the lot. Thank you. The Underground, wonderful. Everybody that came out, everybody that's viewing this in other means through time and space, lovely. Thanks for having us. Adieu.